And welcome to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. We're getting an early look at the November gubernatorial matchup in Virginia. A new poll released by Roanoke College showing Democratic nominee Abigail Spanberger ahead of Republican Winsome Earle-Sears, 43% to 26%, with 28% of registered voters are undecided, while 3% say they would vote for someone else. Joining Capitol Review is Dr. Harry Wilson. He's the Interim Director for the Institute for Policy and Opinion Research at Roanoke College. Dr. Wilson, thank you for joining us.
Sure, happy to be with you this morning.
We're happy to have you. Let's talk about the race for governor in Virginia. Right now, Abigail Spanberger seems to be leading in polls. How would you describe the state of the race at this point?
Well, I think certainly the poll we just released this morning has Spanberger up by 17 points, which is a lot. Poll we did 3 months ago, it was 15 points. They're both, that's within the margin of error. So essentially, we haven't seen much of a shift in this race. Both of the candidates gained a few points in this poll, but we have a 5% margin of error. So that margin may not be as great as it appears to be, but as I think most people would say, you'd prefer to be ahead by 17 points right now than down by 17 points.
Dr. Wilson, there seems to be a strong percentage of folks who at least say that they're undecided. How do the candidates go after those undecided voters?
Well, I think some of those, that's an interesting question, and when we're 6 months out, so that's such a long time. It's an eternity in politics. That I think the first thing the candidates want to do really is shore up their base, and for Winsome Earle-Sears, that's sort of really important. We had a higher percentage of Republicans saying they were undecided in this poll than what we would typically see, a lot more than Democrats. So I think the first thing you want to do is shore up your base. And I work under the assumption that both of the bases are eventually going to come home. So in that regard, this poll is probably not as bad for Earle-Sears as it appears to be, because only 70% of the Republicans said they were going to vote for her, 1% said they were going to vote for Spanberger, 0% of Democrats said they were going to vote for Earle-Sears. So partisan-wise, this is baked in, and those Republicans, I think, will come home, come back to the Republican Party, and eventually they'll vote for Earle-Sears. So I would expect to see her numbers certainly go up from where they are now. And there is a battle over independence, which right now Spanberger has a lead, not a 17-point lead, but Spanberger has a lead there, and that's something where eventually you really have to fight for those people, and you have to try to find a way to get them to come out and vote. I think for Spanberger and for the Democrats, it's probably trying to convince them that things are going really poorly in the country. They don't have to convince Democrats in Virginia of that. Our poll showed that Democrats in Virginia really think that already. But try to convince independents of that. And for the Republicans, trying to convince independents that maybe things really aren't as bad as some people think they are right now. And 6 months from now, who knows where they will be. I certainly don't.
You talk about going after those independents, Dr. Wilson. Do both candidates hitch their wagon to the performance of the Trump administration to get those independent votes?
Well, I think certainly Spanberger does that, because Trump has never been super popular in Virginia. Even last year, he still did not carry Virginia. He did better. If you're a Democrat in Virginia, it's pretty safe to go after President Trump. That's generally going to be a winning perspective. So I think that's certainly the Spanberger strategy. And for Earle-Sears, that could be her strategy. Obviously not to go after Trump, but if things begin to improve, certainly if the national economy begins to improve, then she's got a talking point to say, hey, these other folks were talking about gloom and doom all the time, and things really aren't bad, right? And you can see that things really aren't bad. And that it just took a little time for some of these policies to work, but we're able to get things done. And she can also, although Governor Youngkin didn't do as well in this poll as he generally does, but if Youngkin can bring his favorable ratings and his job approval back up, then she can hitch her wagon to him and say, hey, I've been a part of this administration. And that we've done things and Virginia has done well over the past 4 years. And if you want that to continue, then I'm your person.
Dr. Harry Wilson, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.